President Trump broke the Democrats so badly, he's got them dancing to their own demise. The DNC meeting to elect a new chairman was a full-blown parody, chock full of speeches that show the party has learned nothing from their losses, the losers consoling themselves with awkward singing, dancing, and gender confusion. The outgoing DNC chair couldn't even explain his own party's rules for their gender-balanced provisions.
Our rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
And if you needed more proof that the Democratic Party is a dumpster fire of epic proportions, more than 50 Dem leaders spoke with the New York Times and revealed a party struggling to find its footing in the new Trump term. With one lawmaker saying, quote, "We have no coherent message." You think? Dana, I'll start with you. You know, every week, whether it's Axios, the Washington Post, the New York Times, you know, they write these articles about how we need to work on our messaging and we need to be introspective. And it's not that difficult why they lost.
Yeah, it's not. And the Democrats are on the struggle bus, and their convention was really, really good for the Republicans. They picked a boring white guy from Minnesota because Tim Walz worked out so well for them. It also showed that the left-wing activists are much more influential in the party than the old-school Pelosi and Schumer. They wanted Ben Wickler of Wisconsin.
Really?
And these guys were like, nope, we want somebody a little bit more radical, someone who's reflexively anti-Trump and is not going to buck the party in any way. At least they're going to keep going in the left trajectory that they had. And these are people that want to make a point, not a difference. And I believe that the only way that they're going to have a comeback is to find somebody who will buck the party, who's going to be an insurgent. It's probably nobody that's even on our radar unless they're sitting at this table.
Mm-hmm. You know, and it's funny that I was going to go right to Harold before you even suggested that. Harold, what do they need?
I don't disagree with Dana, her analysis of it. You know, the Democrats don't have an economic message. They're controlled by interest groups. It was embarrassing to watch I felt bad for my friend Jamie Harris. I didn't know what he was saying as he was talking through what he was talking through. And we're drowning in cultural issues as a party. If you were watching any of that over the weekend, you watched these snippets and may have seen it virally, and you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, you felt good about not voting for Kamala Harris and Democrats, watching the lack of coherence. Now, Democrats, we've been here before. In my lifetime, when I was 22, the governor out of Arkansas had a vision and had exceptional political skills and charted a path and gave Democrats, and I think in the country, a lot of hope about a serious Democratic Party. The world's a different place than it was back when he ran for president. I would argue the wealth and achievement and education gaps are bigger and prices for things are higher. And it's really, in my mind, a recipe for Democrats, if we get our act together, if we listen to voters and begin to connect with them again culturally. I would argue before we get an economic message, I was with a dear friend who's in politics over the weekend who shared, I thought, something poignant. He goes, no one's going to listen to us. They won't take us seriously if we can't get right on some of these cultural issues and connect with people on just bread and butter issues around their dinner table and around where they live. So I'm hopeful we get back, but this weekend was not encouraging.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jesse, in addition to being, as Harold says, controlled by interest groups, there is a Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett from Texas. And her whole message seemed to be that, and I'm wondering how much of the party will follow through with it. Trump is psychotic. Everything that he does underlines it's all about white supremacy and hate. I mean, haven't they figured out that that doesn't work?
She related to Davy Crockett?
No.
Is it a different Crockett?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
So. This goes back
to Tubbs from Miami Vice.
This goes back to Barack Obama, obviously. He gets in and he declares a culture war against bitter clingers, starts printing money, picks winners and losers, the Ferguson effect. He has this little rainbow coalition. They think demographics is destiny. What happens? They got whacked by Trump 1.0. And the only reason he didn't get reelected was because of the China virus. So then they bring in Barack Obama's older white vice president who cut a deal with the radical left, and they'll let him do whatever they want. Again, print money, empty the jails, open the borders, declare a war on common sense. Another cultural revolution smacked in the face again by Donald Trump again. And so you have a boxer who's been knocked out cold twice. He's in the hospital. He's basically brain dead because he forgot about the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are you protect the workers, you protect families, the borders, and the American dollar. They've lost their cut man. They don't have media anymore. They lost their promoter. They don't have X anymore. And they lost their casino to fight in because all their donors went to the other side. So this is what I would do, Harold. I would hang them up, Harold. Hang them up. Pick a new sport.
No, I think they ought to stay. Just say that route.
All right. Or
Brad,
stay and get hit in the face.
Yes.
Go.
Oh, okay. That's a change. A lot of people ask me, Greg, can you please summarize everything you've ever said? So that's what I'm going to do right now. The Democratic Party created the largest preference falsification operation in political history by being so offensive and intolerant. No one would tell them to stop because they just avoided them. When your persuasion is based on fear that we're going to destroy your reputation, then no one is going to approach you and say, hey, look, maybe you're off base, because then you'll be destroyed. Now you couple that with the hoax matrix imploding so that now everybody's an expert in media lies and coercion. That means you can't sell your bad ideas to the public anymore through MSNBC and CNN because they see through it. It's a Gelman effect. Then you have the sunk cost, where after a decade of identity politics, you can't divest from that. It's just too much. It's like a money pit in a house. You know, you keep pouring money in it because you already put money in it. Now this combines, you create a smaller and smaller unit of resistance because all the smart people have left and the idiots, they can't go anywhere else because we'll take Tulsi and RFK and Elon and Trump. He was a Democrat. And of course, Harold, he'll be here soon. But we don't want Crockett. We don't want Swalwell. We don't want Maxine Waters. You can keep those bozos, but the bozo unit's going to get smaller and smaller. And why is that? The high ground maneuver. Republicans declaring themselves the party of common sense leaves no turf around it. Every party needs to differentiate itself from the other party. How do you differentiate from common sense? What's next for the Democratic Party after wokeism? Bestiality? Voodoo sacrifice? I mean, you're in cuckoo corner. What's left?
Okay.